Hi guys, this is Laura from Green Tree, just tuning in with your spice of the month. I know it's been a little while since the last one. We were opening up our new location at 410 West Broadway. That is open now 7 to 9, 7 days a week. So you can come in and check out our new bulk section. We've always had a beautiful herbs and spices section, but it's even bigger and better now. And one of the things that you will find there is cardamom. So this is powdered cardamom seed. This is how you will receive your sample if you signed up with the library, would be this powdered cardamom. It's wonderfully aromatic even when it's been powdered and processed like this. To me, it's spicy like a ginger or a clove is spicy, not like a hot pepper. Sweet and has a little bit of a woody scent that actually reminds me of pine. That combination is really unique and packs a huge flavor punch, which is great because cardamom is one of the more expensive spices in the world by the pound. It's right up there with vanilla and saffron. But because such a little bit packs such a wallop, you only need a touch to really make something special out of a dish. So this is what it looks like when it's been powdered. That's again what you will have received. And this is what it looks like when it's in a whole pod. Now you can see I've broken some of these open and there's some loose seeds in here. Cardamom, the part that we use is actually, let's see if I can find one in here that's already open. Here we go. It is inside of these little papery pods that you break open. You get these little husky bits that'll come off, and then you'll have these little tiny black seeds. I don't think it's going to want to focus on that, but there's little tiny black seeds inside of these green pods, these little papery green pods. You can break them open and get the seeds out to make your powder. It is actually possible to powder these with the little husks still on, but that tends to give you a cheaper and less intense finished product. So most of the time when you get it, when you buy the cardamom, it won't be the whole pods that are powdered. It'll be these little seeds that you can see loose in my jar because I broke some of these open to show you guys. Cardamom is in the same family as ginger and turmeric. They can all be propagated by rhizomes, which is it's kind of like a root, but the plant uses it for food storage instead. They grow under the ground and they can be split up and planted in order to grow more plants, or you can plant the seeds that you find inside these little pods. Cardamom is native to India and Indonesia, but most of it is actually grown in Guatemala now. The cardamom grown in India is mostly used in India, but the cardamom grown in Guatemala gets exported to countries all over the world. So most of what you get is going to be from Guatemala. Now, in addition to being super aromatic, cardamom is also known as having digestive boosting qualities, which is really nice. Oh, and it's also good for your breath. So you can chew on these little seeds, these little loose seeds. I mean, I guess you could chew on the whole pod, but frankly, if you chew on a seed or two, you'll see how intense it is. A whole pod might be a bit much. So you can directly chew on it, or you can use it to make something like bitters. So I have a jar here that I've made. You can see the little cardamom pods in it. And then I also have dandelion greens and burdock root and orange peel in there. So this is an aromatic bitter. You can either use this just for digestion, or you could put it in a cocktail to give it a nice little extra something. So digestive benefits, but mostly cardamom is used in cooking. Now, you're probably familiar with cardamom in sweet dishes like cookies or chai tea, where it's typically paired with cinnamon to give you a really sweet, slightly spiced, aromatic kind of an oomph to your tea. There's typically going to be milk in that as well. It's a creamy tea preparation. However, it's also super popular in savory dishes, especially in India and the Middle East. So there's a lot of curries that contain cardamom and a lot of rice dishes as well. One of the two recipes that I gave you this time is for a savory rice dish. It calls for broth. I just use these little not chicken bouillons that we carry because it's just really a convenient thing to add. Plus it's vegetarian. Actually, I think they're vegan. Yeah, they're vegan and gluten-free. So when you're making a rice dish that everyone can have, these are a really nice base for it. If you're sensitive to salt, I would say just use the bouillon and leave the salt out. Either way, it's going to have a great flavor because you are using this really intense cardamom powder plus a little bit of cumin to give it an even more intense savory undertone. That kind of rice dish can be served with sauteed chicken breasts. It can be served with roasted vegetables. I had mine with a chana masala, which is a chickpea dish. It has like a savory tomato base and chickpeas, and it paired really well with this lovely like aromatic rice. Oh, you could also do that with sauteed mushrooms. That would be a really good pairing with this particular rice combination. The other recipe that I gave you, again, check the link. You can see all the step-by-step pictures of this because, you know, a lot of people are a little intimidated by making truffles, so I took pictures as I went. But for the truffles, I love the combination of chocolate and cardamom. You get these deep bittersweet notes from the chocolate and then these bright aromatic intense flavors from the cardamom, and the combination of that sort of high and low flavors is really wonderful. I used cocoa powder instead of melting chocolate. It comes from one of my favorite recipes from a book called The Starving Artist's Way that I was gifted many, many years ago. And I did my own tweak on that recipe where we use the cocoa powder, but also coconut milk. Coconut milk pairs so well with cardamom. I like these little cans because I can make just a batch of something and not have a ton left over if I'm not making like a huge pot of something. So I would recommend that if you don't use it a ton or if you only tend to cook for just one or two people. But the coconut milk, the creamy thickness of the coconut milk with that bittersweet of the chocolate and the aromatic spice notes of the cardamom, my mouth is watering just thinking about it. I've already eaten all of these, so I can't show you what they look like, but they're just the cutest little truffles. I made some over the holidays, and everybody who tried them said, yes, definitely, I want these again. So I recommend trying out the truffles as a treat for yourself or for other people if you're willing to share. And one little tip that I'm not sure I did mention in the recipe is you should probably keep them refrigerated until shortly before you want to serve them because they are a very soft truffle and they can get a little squished if you leave them sit for too long. So there are a couple of suggestions for using your cardamom. Try both the sweet and savory applications. It really will show you all the different levels to the flavor of the cardamom. I hope that you have fun experimenting. If you have suggestions for spices you might want us to cover in the future, you can send those to the library or you can send them to me at laura@greentree.coop. That's my email, and I'd love to hear from you guys on that. Have fun experimenting with this wonderful aromatic spice, and until next time, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.